I wish I could say that if I was alive in like the 1800s, that I would have been like one of those people that was like helping to free slaves and was super against slavery. But to be honest, I probably would have been one of those guys who was kind of against slavery, but only once I was in my 20s and it was too late because I had already been whipping slaves since I was 8 years old. But I would never tell, like, if I saw a black person and I was like, he's like, yeah, I support your cause. I wish slavery was illegal. I would never tell them about like me whipping. I would just act like that never happened. Speaking of black people, I've never really understood that it was like a negative stereotype that they like to eat watermelon, because that implies that they like to grow watermelons to eat. And growing watermelons is pretty dang hard. So that's just saying that black people are pretty good at, farming and shit, which is not easy to do. That's like street smarts and book smarts. Black people are smart because they eat watermelon. Now, I don't know if I can make that same argument for the fried chicken. But maybe they were making that fried chicken in like the 1800s when it was a lot harder. So maybe they were smart. I don't know my history on when black people invented fried chicken. Did they even invent fried chicken, or is that just another fucking lie? See, I'm like Ray William Johnson. I'm only mentioning these stereotypes so I can make fun of them because they're stupid. I think I love you more than the Japanese love tentacle porn, and we could dance to these stereotypes. If you don't know what I was just singing there, get the hell out of here! I'm serious. LS Mark is down the hall to the left. If you want to watch some mediocre slop for the masses, go watch some LS Mark. We do things a little different around here. We do things a little bit different around here. Okay, not to be LARPing as a game designer or anything, but I was playing Crash to Insanity last weekend, and I finally realized, like, when I was a kid, I hated that whenever you touched a nitro, even if you had a mask on, that shit would instantly blow up. But I realized for the first time, like, they did that, so whenever they did their little, like, platforming challenges off to the side for the extra gems, like, a lot of them will use, like, nitros in ways where if you had a mask and could just blow through the nitro with the mask and tank the hit, like, it would just completely break it and make it super easy. So I get why they did it now, but I think they should have just made a block that was, like, a super nitro, and it was just, like, I mean, even if they didn't explain it, like, I feel like people would get it pretty fast, because it's like, hey, I can touch these other ones with the hockey mask, but this one I can't. Because it's super annoying that the fucking nitros are some insta-kill in that game. It's frustrating. I want to bounce on a nitro, like, if I have the mask for it. That's one of the fun things to Crash. Sometimes you can purposely tank a hit just to get through the level faster or get through an obstacle. You know what I mean if you ever played Crash. Okay, I'm going to mention something genuinely embarrassing, but this is also 100% real, and I know I said that before in live. I also said it sometimes and it was true, so you don't even know what stories are true. But once I tell you what happened in this story, it's going to be so lame that you're going to instantly just know it was true. So I remember, this isn't even really a story. This is just me saying a thought that I thought one time, but I need to give the context first for why I was thinking that thought. You feel me? So that's kind of really where the story is. So I was watching Oni plays, specifically the Sonic Heroes Let's Play when it was Zach, Corey, and Chris, which on Oni Plays, that's the best combination they could ever have. Like, they actually work off each other well. Like, Lyle, Tomar, those guys not really that funny usually. They have their rare moments, but they are usually not that funny. I can be honest. I'm not going to pretend like I like all their comedy equally just because it'd be a little mean to just say Lyle and Tomar aren't funny. Because they are funny sometimes, especially Tomar. Lyle, genuinely not my style of humor at all, but he has made me laugh. Not even like extremely rarely. It's not like some once in a blue moon type of thing, but like I can go a whole video where he's in it without laughing. But he has some good stories though, so it's not like you just need to be funny. You need to have good stories. Now, are his stories the best thing ever? Well, not really. That's another reason why I don't like him. Come on, Lyle. You can improve your stories. I mean, the only good story of his was the one wherever he, like, flipped off an old lady on a plane. Now, that was a good-ass story. It was so good that I was talking to a stranger in public and called that story off as my own and told it like it happened to me, even though I've never even been on a plane before. I just love doing that, though, because, then it's kind of like you're showing Oni plays to an old person, and it's like, oh, well, that's how they would react if they were watching it. But you can't just shove your phone in an old person's face, so you need to steal a story, call it off as your own, and then take the complete credit for it and never tell him anything. And now, did the guy even believe me? I could tell he didn't. I could tell he thought I had a crazy look in my eye, which I freaking didn't, but that's why I have to wear sunglasses now, because people think I have the Adam Lanza style eyes where I'm like staring bullets into you. It's annoying. I'm not Adam Lanza. I would never kill kids in a million years. I wouldn't kill anyone, but I would never kill kids, especially first graders. And I hear the only reason he was killing kids, alright, so this motherfucker had anorexia, which makes you weak and stuff, so his mind was faded and he was already crazy. But that's not the thing. So he could have gone to high school, but if he goes there, he's going to get tackled by the people. They're just going to kill him instantly. But if he goes to a first grade, like he goes to an elementary school, it's genuinely free reign. And that's what's so terrifying. He genuinely just did it because he knew he'd be able to kill more people. That's got to be the whole motive. That's freaky as hell. That dude had mental problems. Why is his mom not in prison? His mom should have been in fucking prison. It's so much fun riding on the polar bear, I swear. This is the best part of the whole game. Yeah, unfortunately, when I was a kid, I wasn't allowed to watch The Simpsons, which is probably why my humor sucks so much. I didn't start watching it till I was 12. It was already too late for me. So I didn't really know anything about the characters except their last name is Simpson, because that's what the show is called. And also, when I was a kid, I didn't know who O.J. Simpson was, so I thought that O.J. Simpson was a Simpsons character, but I knew it's like Homer, Marge, and stuff. So I thought that maybe O.J. Simpson was just a fun uncle who's not in the main family, but he just lives in a house across town. But when I did learn about OJ, I was like, oh, so he's not a Simpsons character. And this was still before I watched The Simpsons. This was probably when I was like 10. I was learning, like, I really learned about the thing when I was 10, like, hey, the glove doesn't fit, you must acquit. I was quoting that to my friends in 5th grade, and they had no idea what the hell I was talking about. And then I was like, do you know who OJ Simpson was? Some of them knew, some of them didn't. I filled them in on the whole story, and that was why I was not allowed at one of my friends' houses anymore. Unfortunate story, but hey, it was completely true. Okay, I'm going to be 100% straight up here, because I want to be honest and say something that I think I need to say, and actually it's true to my heart. It is literally not weird at all that Jewish people have a term for people who aren't Jewish. Like, people on TikTok genuinely think Jewish people are some, like, oh, they think they're better than everyone because, there's, like, the Goyim and then there's them. But, like, come on, you're telling me Christians, like, there's got to be somewhere in Christianity for the people who aren't Christians. And, I mean, Christians think that everyone who's not a Christian is going to burn in hell, but then they think the Jewish people, like, having another term for the Goyim is weird. Like, I'm being serious here. That is crazy to me. That is genuine. Like, 4chan anti-Semitism being astroturfed because, Jeffrey Epstein met with the founder of 4chan. The next day, /poll reopens. Coincidence? I think not. Did you get that reference? Incredibles? You ever seen that movie? Everyone's seen Incredibles, of course. Why'd I even say that? Said it for the joke. Because if you haven't seen Incredibles, you can say it's just a kid's movie. I'm not going to expect you to watch kids' movies. If you're a kid and you're still here, you're probably already brainwashed, but you still need to leave. Maybe you can save your brain while you still can, because you probably didn't get all the jokes I was making. You hopefully don't know who Adam Lanza is. Maybe you don't know what Sandy Hook is either. Alright, I'm going to tell you a game that I hate the fans for. Banjo-Kazooie. Y'all are acting like this was one of the most seminal games of the 90s. Bro, Croc Legend of the Gobos outsold your bitch ass. Nobody cares about this game that wasn't a Nintendo dork. I'm not even talking about people who played Star Fox and stuff like that. I'm talking about the kids like Movie Bob who grew up and like Andrew Dobson. I'm talking about those type of guys. I remember I was watching Twin Peaks with my family when I was like 14 and 15. But I had like a trouble like paying attention to the episodes a lot of the times because I would just be thinking about how much I wanted to bang all the girls on that show. I genuinely have like no idea what was happening. I just remember, oh, her dad killed her? Well, okay, that's weird. Well, her tits were big at least, and her face was good. She had a face card. Every girl in this show has like the craziest face card ever. It's insane. One thing that does bug me is people will get on Quentin Tarantino for casting himself in that movie wherever he was sucking on Salma Hayek's foot, but people don't care that David Lynch like married the girl he casted in a movie where he fucking had her get raped for 12 minutes straight, and he also left his wife for her. So I don't think he actually married this new girl, but he definitely like did date her. So that is a little weird, is it not? Like, people really don't bring this up. So people act like Quentin Tarantino is this awful guy, but David Lynch was the uber soft boy who probably had autism. Now, just because you have autism doesn't mean you can't cheat on your girl. That's ignorant, man. Are you fucking autistic phobic or something? You don't think autistic people have the brain to cheat on their girls? You're kind of a bad person for that. Maybe you should reevaluate yourself. Bro, remember Weapons? Weapons was like Sinners for white people. That's what Weapons was. That was a good flick. You would think that I would really like Nick Fuentes because of the kind of crazy shit I say around here, but I actually think that he's really annoying, but it's kind of fucked up because occasionally he'll say something that's like actually funny, but you can tell that he's being serious with it, and it's like not to be laughed at. But one of the incidents I'm referring to here, so he was getting reviewed on the news by this old guy. Did I say reviewed? Interviewed. He's getting interviewed on the news by this old guy, and the old dude was like, so I heard you were making fun of some guy because his mom died in the Holocaust. And then Nick was like, yeah, I don't care about his, me mom died for Hitler sob story. That was so fucked up, but I laughed. And his classic line where he's saying something like, the Jews be Jewing. Like, what the hell does that mean? One thing that really bugged me about the interviewer was he asked if Nick was gay. Like, you really think Nick is gonna come out of the closet on your interview, dude? Get a freaking grip on yourself. Genuinely, what were you thinking when you said that? Genuine, what was the thought process? Okay, not to talk about the whole Cinemassacre truth thing again, but whenever I was talking about that last time, I was trying to find one of the funniest memes from the whole making fun of James thing. Like, that old, like, commercial where it's like, it's 8 o'clock, do you know where your kids are? There was one that's like, it's 5:40, do you know where your Rolf is? That shit had me freaking dying whenever I first saw that. Like, the whole fucking joke of that subreddit is so funny. Like, why are we being so mean to a 45-year-old man who was really funny back in the day? Like, it's probably hard to pretend to be mad about stuff for 20 years straight. I don't think I'm going to be able to keep, like, the bits up on this channel for too long. But the thing is, I actually do believe a lot of the stuff I say on here. A lot of the stuff I don't believe too, but that's kind of what keeps it fun. I'm like Sam Hyde, where I mix the truth in, mixed a little bit of lies, just to confuse people like iDubbbz who think you need to be clear with your intent for humor. When I think that I completely disagree with that. Like, I think you can be funny and not have an obvious intent with your humor. That just means that you're a little bit smart. Because I will say, I'm kind of like David Lynch on this shit, where there's a clear like thought process sort of behind everything, but I will just be having some creative moments where I'll just kind of go out on a tangent. But there's usually all of this is like pretty freaking clever satire if you haven't noticed. This isn't freaking Llama Rider 37 where I'm just talking about wanting to get sucked off by dudes the whole time. I only mention that shit when it's relevant. I'm actually funny. He is just a cheap imposter of other funny men. He's a ripoff of Rigby from Regular Show. Have you heard his voice? You know he was voice trained probably for like 6 years trying to get his voice to sound like Rigby. He was probably like me when Regular Show came out. He thought those characters were really cool. So he's like, well, I want to make my voice sound like Rigby. And he was probably watching those like transgender videos, you know, because transgenders, whenever they want to change their voice, they watch YouTube videos to do it. That's also probably what he was doing. I mean, that kind of makes sense. There's no way you just sound like that. Even if he didn't do all that, because that was mostly a joke, I do believe this 100%, maybe 100%. I 80% believe what I am about to say right now. If Regular Show had never come out, Llama Rider 37 would not sound like that. At least to the extent that he does. And that is a double truth. Ruth. Did you get that reference? Spike Lee joint? You ever seen a Spike Lee joint? Yeah, because you know, Spike Lee, he's African, so he uses Ebonics sometimes. And so instead of calling them films or whatever, some people call films Kino. Like, why am I shitting on Spike Lee for calling his films joints or his movies joints? And some people call them Kino. That is so dumb. I don't care if it's German, dude. I fucking played Call of Duty. I played Call of Duty Zombies, Kino der Toten. You really don't think when I was like 12 years old playing that, I wanted to look up what it meant because it was obviously German? You think I'm a freaking idiot or something? You think I have no brain? You think I'm an NPC? But it kind of sucks whenever you make an Epic Gamer reference and then the other person doesn't get it. Because one time I was getting a hand job and I said, I'm harder than Shangri-La on Black Ops right now. And she just walked out of the room and I didn't even finish. It was the worst Mother's Day ever. I will say the one downside about being gay is like whenever you're giving a hand job to a dude, it's not like whenever it's a girl giving a hand job to a dude. Like I wish I could be a girl giving a hand job to a dude, but I don't even think it's possible yet. The science isn't there. Like I don't want to be transgender. I want to be a girl. It's freaking different, okay? There's a difference. And I'm not saying that transgender people aren't real women, but I'm saying I want my brain inside of a hot girl's brain. I don't want to become a woman. That is gay. I just want my brain inside of a hot girl's brain.